Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch with Crime Talk, and thanks for watching. First on the docket, a fishing trip turns into a triple homicide. Second, new update on the New York Grim Reaper case. Third, you don't mess with a federal judge. Fourth, day 18 of the Galin Maxwells suicide watch, and we're not the only one watching. Fifth, where's my stimulus check? And finally, our dumb criminal contestant winner from last week and our contestant for today. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch with Crime Talk. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, we'd ask that you hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so that you receive notifications, and as always, leave us a comment below. First on the docket today, fishing trip turns into a triple homicide. That's right, 3 friends were fatally beaten and shot when they gathered at a lake in Central Florida on Friday night. According to the Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge, Damon Tillman, Kevin Springfield, and Brandon Rollins all were beaten and shot. Police believe that Tillman arrived at the lake first on Friday night to meet his friends for a night of fishing. Apparently they're going catfish fishing. When Rollins and Springfield arrived, they saw Tillman being beaten and they were shot by the attackers. Rollins initially survived the attack and was able to contact his father. Rollins' father knew exactly where the 3 were going fishing and started to head that way. Apparently, he left in such a panic, he left his cell phone at home, stopped at a convenience store, and called 911. Rollins was holding on. Unfortunately, he has passed away. There are no suspects, but the police believe that there are multiple suspects. Clearly, this is not the fishing trip any of these young men were expecting. Let's hope they find the attackers and murderers. Next on the docket, an update with new information regarding the Grim Reaper case in New York. As you may recall, we brought you information about the case regarding Fahim Saleh. He is a tech entrepreneur and has basically a taxi cab hailing type company in Nigeria, and he has launched other companies throughout the world. It is alleged that an individual by the name of Tyrese Haspel, who was a longtime employee for Mr. Saleh, went to his apartment, attacked him with a taser, then took him inside and then stabbed Mr. Saleh. It is then alleged that Mr. Haspel left the apartment, returned the following day with an electric saw. It is then reported that Mr. Haspel dismembered Mr. Saleh by removing his head, arms, and legs from his torso. Authorities believe that they have the video of Haspel purchasing cleaning supplies as well as the electric saw. According to the medical examiner, Saleh was stabbed 5 times in the neck and torso and had multiple incise wounds to his arms and hands and contusions on his left forehead. Haspel is expected to appear in court again in August. He has already entered a plea of not guilty. The fact that a lot of people may find very disturbing is that the police have been able to obtain video surveillance of Mr. Haspel around New York City before returning back and cutting up Mr. Saleh. Specifically, authorities say that they have video showing him and a woman getting out of a vehicle carrying Louis Vuitton bags as well as other high-end items. He appears to present an image of being quite relaxed and not having any cares in the world. This is going to be an interesting case to follow simply because obviously the brutality of it, but also what makes somebody do this to a former friend and someone who has actually helped the defendant out over the years, both financially and with employment. And in this particular case, it's alleged that Mr. Saleh helped out Mr. Haspel when it was discovered that Mr. Haspel was stealing money and tried to work out a private arrangement so that he could, in fact, pay the money back without contacting the authorities. He cut the guy a break. And this is what he gets? Wow. I can't wait to see how this plays out and the reason behind it. A quick recess here on the docket. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for several weeks, we have been letting you all know about a background subscription service. And we put up a testimonial the other day, and we received another testimonial completely unsolicited. And it states, so I used TruthFinder and found out the guy I was talking to online for just a few weeks was in Nigeria. I'm so ashamed. When I confronted him that he didn't exist, he told me he was in the military in Afghanistan and he had to change his name. He further stated that all his family was dead and that he really needed the money, and he kept persisting that he needed the money. Now, you can go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for your background subscription, and when you do so, you can search as many names and people that you want to search. For your subscription fee, you get unlimited searches. You can cancel at any time. And the beautiful thing is that you can search these records anonymously. No one's going to know that you've done it. And when you hit that report button, you are going to have a report that shows you social media information about these individuals, emails, phone numbers, criminal records, bankruptcies, civil court records, including judgments and divorces. And you can find out if there are any marriage records as well. I'm not making up these testimonials. These are real people who have said this works. If you are going to become involved, or you are involved intimately with somebody, you need to pay for this subscription service. The cost for the subscription is nominal, and you can use it as many times as you want. And if everything checks out, it gives you peace of mind. If things don't check out, at least you have the information to ask these people about what's going on. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for your background subscription. You will be glad you did. Next on the docket, someone made a huge mistake. You don't mess with a federal judge, all right? Now, you shouldn't ever mess with anybody in the judicial system. You don't go after DAs, you don't go after witnesses, and you certainly don't go after the judge, let alone a federal judge. So, a husband and son have been shot, one fatally, and they're related to Judge Esther Salas. She is a U.S. District Court judge in New Jersey, and she's the first Hispanic female ever appointed to position in the state of New Jersey. It is alleged that on Sunday morning, an individual dressed in the uniform of a Federal Express delivery person came to the door. Ms. Salas's 20-year-old son opened the door, greeted the man in the FedEx uniform where he was shot and killed. Ms. Salas's husband, who is a private criminal defense attorney, also came to the door and was shot and is in critical condition. Ms. Salas was in the basement of the home at the time and was not injured. Now, the police and federal authorities have devoted a lot of resources to this, and hopefully they will find the individual involved. This goes straight to the heart of the criminal justice system, and it will not be tolerated, and justice is going to become very swift and heavy for these individuals or individual involved. I am certain that through video surveillance in the neighborhood or surrounding area that they will be able to find out who was masterminding this and who actually committed the murder. We had a case here several years ago where the director of the Colorado Department of Corrections apparently was not liked by a white supremacist gang referred to as 211 Crew. One of the individuals in that gang, and upon his release from the Colorado Department of Corrections, killed a completely innocent bystander who just happened to be a pizza delivery guy. The 211 gang member took the gentleman's uniform, then went to the home of Tom Clements under the guise of delivering a pizza by mistake, and ultimately shot Tom Clements at his front door. To date, there have been no arrests related to the murder of Tom Clements. I hope that this is not the type of situation that plays out in New Jersey and that justice will be had as it relates to the deaths of Judge Salas's son. Now, Judge Salas, obviously being a United States District Court judge, has a civil docket as well as a criminal docket. Some of her more notorious criminal dockets and sentencing has included sending cartel members to prison for multiple decades. And in a random rotation, she was recently assigned on her civil docket the case against Deutsche Bank, alleging that they did not properly monitor the funds coming in as it related to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the police are going to have to go back and look at not only every case that was before this judge, but whatever she did prior to becoming a judge, as well as her husband, who is a criminal defense attorney. It could have been a potentially unsatisfied client or family member. It's a dangerous world out there, ladies and gentlemen. It is a dangerous world. You need to take care of yourself and always be cautious. Next on the docket, it's day 18 of Galin Maxwell's suicide watch, and we're not the only ones watching. And some of you who are going to say, Scott, you didn't pronounce it correctly. That is not the case. I can tell you, we had in our Patreon group last Tuesday night a French-speaking member tell me the exact way to pronounce her name. And it's Galin Maxwell. Galin Maxwell. Got it. I know sometimes I can butcher a name better than anybody, but I'm telling you, I got this one right. Anyway, we have had our suicided watch for Miss Maxwell since she was taken into custody on July 2nd. Here we are, some 18 days later, and she has not been suicided. She has not been told to get her affairs in order so that she can be suicided. However, it is reported through friends of Miss Maxwell that Miss Maxwell actually believes that Mr. Epstein was in fact murdered and believes that the same fate will come to her. We're hoping that the correctional officers at the Bureau of Prisons detention facility where she is being held are watching her. We're hoping that everyone makes their rounds and not just writing things in the logbook saying they've made their rounds. And we're hoping that there are no power surges where the videotape just happens to cut off when somebody is in fact being suicided. So, BOP, we're rooting for you. Miss Maxwell, we're rooting for you because we think you've got a lot to say and that you can really help yourself by letting everybody know who is involved in your little child exploitation ring for Mr. Epstein and all his high-powered friends. We would love to know all their names. So, Miss Maxwell, we're rooting for you too. We'd like to see you stick around long enough to tell us all those names. Next on the docket, dude, I didn't get my stimulus check. That's right. Police in Houston are on the hunt for an alleged bank robber. All right. And bank robbery is by far one of the dumber crimes committed because, well, people always get caught. So this gentleman in Houston apparently walks in to a bank and states that he has not received his stimulus check or funds from the government to save his business, and therefore he has to have some money. Well, this individual came into the store bright and early on July 8th, walked in with his face covered with a black bandana, wearing a hoodie over his head. Why are they wearing hoodies, ladies and gentlemen? ID. How many times have we talked about it? They have to prove identification. That's why they wear masks. Now, normally, going into a bank with a mask is actually a crime, but apparently not anymore. So when this gentleman showed up, he went to the bank stating he lost his business to COVID, and please make this simple and easy to comply. In fact, the note was left behind. The note says, didn't get a stimulus or that 10K. I lost my business to COVID, so please make this easy and comply. I don't want to have to hurt anybody, but will if I have to. Any suspicious moves, I will start shooting, so please get my money. Don't make anything noticeable. So, nice little note. Now, when and if this person is charged and convicted, one, they have to prove identification that is the right person. But that little note, ladies and gentlemen, will get this person enhanced. He may not have actually had a firearm, but the fact that he threatened to take the money with a firearm will get him an enhancement under the federal sentencing guidelines. He should have just said, not that I'm advising anybody how to steal money from a bank, but don't make threats of harming anyone or that you have a weapon. Just simply say, I'm robbing the bank, please give me the money. Most of the time, the people are going to comply. But don't threaten it. It just makes life more difficult for you at sentencing, and you will be caught. Don't rob banks. You can't take things from anybody. Now, let's say this bank robber went to, say, perhaps the Federal Reserve and said, hey, I haven't got my check yet. Or he went to the Department of Treasury and said, I didn't get my check yet. Give me my money. That would still be robbery. Robbery is taking something of value from another person with the threat of force. And then when you start putting in guns, it becomes aggravated robbery and it gets more and more complicated. Don't take things from people that don't belong to you. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. So our masked man in Houston, my advice would be don't rob any more banks, and you may want to go turn yourself in if you have a good conscience. Now, his attorney, and whomever that may be, will not be able to use I didn't get my stimulus or COVID check as a defense. This is what they call mitigation. Mitigation is something that is not an actual defense, but it may be mitigation, something that reduces the penalty of one imposed. This person may in fact had a financial hardship, but that is not a justification for actually stealing money. We'll see if they catch up with our Houston bank robber. Next on the docket, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. But first, let's talk about the winner of our dumb criminal contestant of the week for last week. And yes, our dumb criminal contestant of the week was John Stephanopoulos. Now, you may recall him. He is the chiropractor / real estate agent who he just happened to be burglarizing somebody's house, and his excuse was completely legitimate. He said he had taken some hallucinogenic mushrooms with Jesus, and they were in fact engaged in a virtual reality game. That was his trip. They got him a trip to the jail. Mr. John Stephanopoulos, chiropractor, yes, you are our dumb criminal contestant of the week. And guess what? If you contact me, you will receive a Crime Talk mug at no expense to you. Now, this is one of the new Crime Talk mugs that has just arrived. And you don't have to become a dumb criminal winner to do this. All you have to do is hit the link below, takes you straight to Teespring, and you can get your Crime Talk merchandise. Hit the link, go there. Don't be a dumb criminal. Be a smart Crime Talk watcher and get your merchandise now. Next, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. That's right. Our contestant today is a Florida man, and his name is Zachary Cato. And Mr. Cato provides a good example of the First Amendment. All right? Now, Mr. Cato was apparently and is against racism, and everyone should be against racism because racism is bad. So what Mr. Cato wanted to do was he went around to all of the stop signs in an area located in Port Orange, Florida, and stenciled, and with spray paint and a stencil, put up racism or I can't breathe under the words stop. Get it? Stop racism. Stop I can't breathe. Very, very witty, Mr. Cato. But his problem is that his freedom of speech ends at the other person's property. It's often been said that your First Amendment rights end at the tip of my nose. You can't punch people. You can't assault people. That's not protest. That's not freedom of speech. That's assault. And guess what? It's criminal mischief when you damage other people's property. And in this particular case, it was the city of Port Orange's property, and it cost them $12,500 to fix the sign and the damage that's taken place. And that is a felony. And when Mr. Cato was arrested based upon his phone, selfies, as well as video surveillance used to locate him, Mr. Cato apparently became quite upset and used some rather foul words to the police officers. And, might as well have said he's completely against racism and cops, and therefore that was okay when they were taking the paint cans and stencils from the garbage. So, Mr. Cato, you are a dumb criminal contestant of the day. You may be our dumb criminal contestant of the week. We'll be crossing our fingers for you. All right, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. We know that you have lots of options out there for entertainment these days, and we're glad and appreciative that you come here. Tomorrow night, we'll be going live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on YouTube and Facebook. We hope that you join us. And immediately after that, we will be going to our Patreon Crime Talk members page. And if you'd like to join in on that, please do so that you can get that link tomorrow night after our live show. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.